going to make the Long Island sign. So you have a couple of wood pieces, various size hearts and whatnot to make our wood sign. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to paint our background, then we'll paint our little wood pieces, and then we'll put it all together with glue. I'll show you my example here. So I'm going to do something similar to this. You could use any, you got white and black, and you got a selection of just different colors up here. You could use any colors that you'd like. I'm going to keep it similar to this. I'm going to do a white background. I'm going to do a gray Long Island. I'm actually going to do a red heart and a black home. But you guys could use whatever colors. These are just acrylic paints. I wouldn't use the glitter ones because they're a clear coat and then they just have a little glitter. But these are all acrylic paints, and the white and the black are as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our home and little pieces off. I'll put them to the side, and I'm going to grab just a sponge brush, and I'm going to put 2 coats of whatever color you want for your background on your board. So I'm going to use white. So once your 2 coats are done on your little background, you can put that aside. You might want to go back and do a 3rd coat, but the more coats, the better the coverage. So, but I think 2 is pretty good, and then I'm going to go back and dry brush it in a little bit. So next thing I'm going to do is I am going to paint my Long Island. I'm going to just lay out all my little parts. I'm going to paint, I'll actually paint my home first. So I'm just going to use black, so I'm going to use my smaller brush and just a smaller bit of black. You don't need that much. And you're just going to lightly paint the home. So if you could see, like, there's all little crevices, you want to make sure you're not using that much paint so none of your paint gets stuck inside all those crevices. So I'm going to put 1 coat on everything, and then I'm going to go back and put a 2nd coat. So I have 1 coat on my home, and I'm going to start with my Long Island. My Long Island I want to make gray. So I'm going to, I have a little mixing plate here. I'm going to take some white and just a tiny bit of black with my smaller brush. I'm going to mix it around. You're going to add tiny bits of black. Say if you're making a color, the darker color, you always want to add little bits of it. And I'm going to keep on adding tiny bits of black until I get the color gray I want. I kind of want a darker charcoal gray. And keep on adding white and black. I think that's good for right now. So I'm going to go put on a coat on my Long Island. Once you're finished with your hearts, you could go back and put a second coat on your home, your Long Island, and then your hearts. So I have, my pieces have 2 coats on them and they're drying. Now my background is pretty much dry, and you can even see some of the wood grain. I kind of like that. If you don't want to see any of the wood grain, put another coat of white. But I'm going to show you how to dry brush the background. So what I do is I take my little bigger brush and I am going to dry it out. Make sure it's really dry on some paper towels. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put gray streaks in my background. I'm going to use the same gray that I made for the Long Island. So I'm going to put a little bit of paint on it, and then I'm going to use a paper towel and take some of that paint off. The less paint you have on your brush, and the less the bristles are like together, if you could see that, there you go. You want the bristles to look kind of not happy, a bad hair day. So what we're going to do is you're just going to go left to right, and you can just add streaks. Now the less paint you have on, the better. So I was able to get a few streaks out of my first paint application. Now I'm going to put a little more paint on, take it a little off, and I'm going to keep on adding. Always start at the edge and then go in. Some more paint, take some off. If you get a big streak of gray that you don't want, you could always put a little, dry brush a little white on top. And that's a pretty big streak of gray. So to clean that up, I would take my brush, wash and dry it. And I could take a little bit of white and just go over that a little bit. All right, so I think that's good for my streaks. So I'm gonna let all my pieces dry, and then we're gonna come together with some glue and put it all together. Pieces are dry, now I'm gonna start to glue them together. So what I'm gonna do is I actually have a big bottle. You're just gonna have to snip the end of your bottle. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little glue. If you have a little paper or a paper towel, I'm just gonna put a little glue on that. And I'm actually gonna use my smaller brush to apply the glue, especially to that home. So what I'm going to just do, I'm going to flip over the home. I'm going to go piece by piece and glue it all down. Flip over my home, just brush a little bit of glue. Make sure you don't use too much, but you don't want to use too little. What I like to do is I like to brush some on, and then against a paper towel or a piece of paper, I'll just press it down. It'll just get off some of like the big glue bumps. So then I'm just going to put my home down and press it down. Next, I'll move on to my Long Island. My Long Island's a little easier just because it's a little bigger. Make sure you get the tail. some bunch of glue, and then I'm just going to put him down and press. Once I have that down, make sure he's straight. And then you could put your heart. Your heart goes wherever you live. I'm going to use just the little heart. I have the big heart off to the side. I'm not really going to use him. I'm going to put him right down here. And then there is our Long Island sign. So all the glue dries clear, but if you have like big chunks of glue like on your back, I would just use that little brush and brush it off. So it'll take like 10 minutes to set, and then it's all ready for you to hang up or lean on a shelf or do something. So I hope you had fun painting with me and have a great day.